The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Race fans, get ready for Chase to the Checkered. There was so much racing at Jennerstown Speedway last Saturday night that we had to shrink some of the cars just to get them to fit onto this week's show. With this much racing going on, you'll need to fill up the tank. So get your helmet on and try to beat the traffic, because Chase to the Checkered starts now.
I'm Tim, and this is Brady, this is Ellen, and Kylie, and we're from Holsapple, Pennsylvania. Race fans, start your engines!
Race fans, welcome back to Chase to the Checkered. The Chase to the Checkered crew would like to welcome all of our race fans in Johnstown, Altoona, State College, and all points in between who are watching us on WJAC in Johnstown. Combined with our fans watching on UPN 19 in Pittsburgh, C2C can now be seen in over 1.46 million households. Thanks to everyone for watching. Now, on to the highlights from Jennerstown Speedway. First up on this week's C2C, the Jennerstown Speedway Chargers. When the green fell, number 27 Greg Praisner got in front of number 19 Scott Bowman for the early lead. The next lap, Bowman fell victim to a charging number 24 Chantal Germick. After being passed by number 74 Phil Grubbs, Bowman was soon passed by number 22 Dwayne Knoll, and he was sent back to fifth. Germick would be right behind Praisner for the entire race, but she simply couldn't get by. Greg Praisner went on to take the checkered flag in the Jennerstown Speedway Chargers. Watch the tap of congratulations from Germick. You gotta love the Chargers. This was the second feature win for Level Green's Greg Praisner in 2003.
Really trying to focus out there. I was a little tight going in, meaning that the front of the car wanted to push up to the center, and I was really gingerly going in just to make sure that I didn't give her that lower line, because I knew once I did that, I was history. So I also like to thank Chantel. She really ran me clean. I kept peeking over my shoulder, and all I saw was red. So I was a little nervous.
Greg ran a perfect race, and I just couldn't pass him. I tried each lap to get underneath of him, and every time I tried, he was just a little faster than me coming off the corner. And I'll settle for second. That was the best race I ever drove besides last week, so I really enjoyed the night.
Praisner and Germick were followed by Phil Grubbs, Dwayne Knoll, and Michael Stevens in the top 5 finishers. The win moves Greg Praisner to within 6 points of leader Chantal Germick in the Jennerstown Speedway Charger Division points. Phil Grubbs, Mike Stevens, and Rick Phillips round out the top 5 point getters. Travis Smith, who is currently 9th in points, returned to Jennerstown Speedway for the first time after his wreck 2 weeks ago. However, he was not behind the wheel of the number 94.
We got released out of the hospital Tuesday after the crash. Come home. We struggled for a while, had some headaches, and went back to the doctor this Thursday. They told me I had a post-concussion syndrome and told me that that was it for the year. We're going to set the rest of this year out and maybe look into a truck next year.
It's great to see Travis back after that wreck. Be sure to watch for him next year. All right, race fans, get ready for the highlights of the Jennerstown Speedway Street Stocks. At the start of the race, the top 4 were door-to-door. Number 74, Jason Holder, came out with the lead. But a lap later, number 73, Roger Onstad, came alongside of Holder and snatched the front spot. Soon, number 0 Dink Colarusso followed number 76 Billy Mossdaler past Holder. Then Colarusso stayed on the throttle and got by Mossdaler for second. The number 0 took 2 positions in under a lap. A lap later, Roger Onstad again fell victim to Colarusso as he was passed and moved to second on lap 7. When Dink is out front, he's tough to catch up to, let alone get by. Dink Colarusso led the rest of the race and went on to win the Jennerstown Speedway Street Stock feature. This was Colarusso's 5th win in 6 races at the Laurel Highlands Oval.
The car was absolutely perfect tonight. I just couldn't get it loose in the corner no matter how hard I was running it in there.
Colarusso was followed by Roger Onstad, June Wyant, Billy Mossdaler, and Jason Holder in the top 5. Dink Colarusso is still on top of the Street Stock Division points, but second place Roger Onstad is just behind.
He's definitely got a strong car. I mean, he out-handles me, gets me coming out of the corners where he gets me. I haven't been able to quite catch him yet, but I'll get him before the year's out.
Coming up on Chase to the Checkered, we still have 6 more races to cover, including the Rolling Rock Lake models and the highlights from the Tommy Gale Memorial 64. But first, let's see if you can fill in the gap. Brought to you by GapGuard.com. If you want to pick up, you gotta get to GapGuard.com. Fill in the gap with the answer to this question. What year did racing begin at Jennerstown Speedway? Was it 1927, 1947, 1967, or 1977? We'll have the answer and so much more coming up on Chase to the Checkered. We'll be right back. Race fans, welcome back to Chase to the Checkered. Last Saturday, Jennerstown Speedway played host to 2 exhibition races of the Super Mini Cups. In the Super Mini Cup trucks, number 37 Mike Hawkins took off with the lead and took off with the checkered flag.
Yeah, it was running pretty good.
What's it feel like to drive one of these cars?
It's a little loose, but after you get going, it's not too bad.
Mike Hawkins was followed by Aubrey Hawkins, Amanda McDermott, and Danielle McDermott. In the Super Mini Cup cars, 3 and even 4 wide is not uncommon with these racers. Number 2, Kevin Moore got out in front of the pack. Number 32, Mike Walker was working his way up to the leader, but he almost gets tangled up with a lap car. Walker keeps it together and keeps things rolling. Walker caught up to Moore, but he couldn't get by. Kevin Moore won the Super Mini Cup feature.
I've come to Jennerstown. This is my 2nd year in a row, first victory, so I wasn't going to lead the whole race and lose it on the last lap.
Moore was followed by Mike Walker, Matt Wallace, Frankie White, and Blair Fry in the top 5. Next up, the Jennerstown Speedway Modifieds. Number 42, Jason Bush, held the pole position and took off with the early lead. But number 60, Bob Benz Jr., was fighting past number 1, Mike Bacalon. Bush got a little loose in turn 4. That's all Benz needed, and he got by Bush and brought Mike Bacalon with him. Bush was then forced high as both number 31 Matt Smith and number 37 Paul Urso slid underneath, sending Bush to 5th in a blink. Bacalon would fight valiantly, but the race belonged to Bob Benz Jr., and he crossed the line for the win.
Tell you what, 3rd win of the year for you. That one there, you told me last time you let Mike Bacalon get real close to you, you're kind of playing around with him. Was that the same thing there, or did your car actually tighten up?
No, Mike was fast tonight. That was a race tonight.
Irwin, Pennsylvania's Bob Benz Jr. was followed by Mike Bacalon, Paul Urso, Matt Smith, and Jason Bush in the top 5 finishers. In the Jennerstown Speedway Modifieds division points, Paul Urso and Mike Bacalong are tied at the top. Matt Smith is just 8 points behind in second. Jason Bush, Bob Bench Jr., and Brian Stevenson round out the top 5 in points. Next up, the PA Legacy Series. Number 04 Rick Boyer took off from the outside of row 1 to the early race lead. But as the pack came out of turn 2 on lap 2, number 0 Kep Causer lost it and spun, bringing out the caution. Rick Boyer shot out with the lead on the restart, and his younger brother Brent Boyer in the number 4 was running behind him. The battle for fourth was hot. Number 59 Kyle Martell and number 13 Chris Brink were running side by side, but Brink runs out of room and into the wall he goes. Martell had lost his position to number 70 PJ Ehrlich, but here he gets it back, bringing number 17 Dave Holder and number 24 Jamie Volkovac along. Soon, number 55 Dave Campbell fell victim to Martell as he got by him for third. But the Boyer brothers were way out in front, and number 04 Rick Boyer crosses the line and takes home the trophy. This is the first PA Legacy Series feature win for Blairsville's Rick Boyer in 2003.
Just trying to do too much, so we're going to come back to the legacy cars with Gap Guard and try to finish out the year with that and try to battle with these guys.
Boyer was followed by his brother Brett, Kyle Martell, David Holder, and Jamie Volkovac in the top 5 finishers of the feature. In the PA Legacy Series points, Rick Boyer and Jamie Volkovac are tied for the lead. PJ Ehrlich, Brett Boyer, George Stockman, and Chris Brink round out the top 5 in points. Coming up next on C2C, we've got the highlights from the Rolling Rock Late Models and the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks in the running of the Tommy Gale Memorial 64. But first, let's see if you can fill in the gap. Presented by GapGuard.com. If you own a pickup truck, you need to get to GapGuard.com. Fill in the gap with the answer to this question. What year did racing begin at Jennerstown Speedway? Was it 1927, 1947, 1967, or 1977? We'll have the answer when we come back to Chase to the Checkered. Welcome back, race fans, to Chase to the Checkered. Now, let's see if you can fill in the gap. Presented by GapGuard.com. If you own a pickup, you have to visit GapGuard.com. Do you know the first year there was racing at Jennerstown Speedway? Was it 1927, 1947, 1967, or 1977? What did you guess? You have to go back pretty far for the first race at Jennerstown Speedway, 1927. Did you know that Jennerstown Speedway was one of America's first tracks built for auto racing? Then, they would race once a year as an attraction for the Jennerstown Fair. Now, the Laurel Highlands Oval races weekly, every Saturday night in the summer. Stop by and check it out. The cars are just a bit faster than what they were in 1927. We promise. Now, on to the highlights from the Rolling Rock Late Model feature. When the green fell, number 11 Bobby Henry took the lead. But number 69 Chris Lester is slow. And number 92 Jamie Volkovac almost winds up in his trunk. 3 laps in, number 75 Barry Audi gets under and by number 60 Tommy Beck to take the second place position. On lap 8, number 92 Jamie Volkovac goes low to pass number 31 Mark Catone for 4th, but the 2-touch. Volkovac comes to a skidding halt on the backstretch. Man, those are some good brakes. On the restart, number 75 Barry Audi rockets to the front past Bobby Henry. But on lap 20, Number 35, Brandon Taylor, was facing the wrong way outside of turn 4, bringing out the caution and erasing Audie's lead. Bad news for number 11, Bobby Henry. Oil was leaking out of the rear of the car and he would have to pit. His crew worked on the number 11, but he would have to go to the back of the pack. On the restart, number 31, Mark Catone, was on the outside of Barry Audie. Audie hit the throttle and retook the lead. Just past the halfway point in the race, number 23, Dusty Rhodes, suffered from a blown tire, bringing out the caution. More bad news. Number 11, Bobby Henry, got the black flag, sending him to the pits. Oil was still leaking out.
We changed the gear there after the heat, and one of the studs in the quick change cover stripped out, and I guess we didn't get it back in.
The Brooks Automotive Group pace car guided the field around. Two of the fastest cars at Jennerstown Speedway were on the front row. Number 98, Neil Brown, hit the throttle, but number 75, Barry Audie, pushed ahead for the lead. Barry Audie would extend his lead and go on to win the Rolling Rock Late Model feature. This was the Jenner's PA driver's second Rolling Rock Late Model feature win of 2003.
We were better in the daylight than we were tonight. We're going to do some homework for next week, that's for sure.
Audie was followed by Neil Brown, Tommy Beck, Mark Catone, and Jamie Bolkeback in the top 5 finishers. After all the mechanical trouble, Bobby Henry was able to salvage a 6th place finish. In the Rolling Rock Late Model points, Neil Brown holds on to the lead. Barry Audie is just 18 points behind in second. Bobby Henry, Mark Catone, and Jamie Bolkeback round out the top 5 in points. Now, on to the Tommy Gale Memorial 64. First, some background information. The late Tommy Gale Sr. was one of the good old boys of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. He raced the familiar number 64, but is also known for his Hallmark trailer business. His son, Tommy Gale Jr., runs the business now.
This is one of the things that I think my dad would be so happy to see. He, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and his legacy in racing, he loved the sport, always wanted to give back to it.
Tommy was on hand with Brent Becker from Hallmark Trailers to get things started.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
When the green flag dropped, pole sitter number 96, Todd Price, shot out with the lead, passing number 60, Adam Kostelnik. By lap 8, 2002 Tommy Gale Memorial 64 champ, number 8, Marion Reno Jr., came up on number 97, Jason Lasky, and passed him for the 3rd place spot. 10 laps later, Reno uses the inside line again and gets by number 60, Adam Kostelnik, for 2nd. Meanwhile, Todd Price had built up a nice lead, but the distance would be erased since all trucks had to pit on lap 32. The mid-race competition yellow allowed the trucks to refuel and refuel only. On the restart, last year's champ, number 8, Marion Reno Jr., was right beside number 96, Todd Price. Price pulls out with the lead. On lap 43, number 97, Jason Lasky, gets under Reno and passes him for 2nd. Number 60, Adam Kostelnik, is quick to follow Lasky and passes Reno, sending the 2002 race champ to 4th. All their efforts wouldn't matter since Todd Price was dominating on the track, and he went on to win the 2003 Tommy Gale Memorial 64 at Jennerstown Speedway. This was the 3rd feature win in 6 races for Alan Banks' Todd Price.
Oh, these races have haunted us. We've always had bad luck getting tore up. We finally got the truck working really good, and we got tore up last week. These guys worked there every night this week to get this thing back, and it's back perfect.
Adam and Marion both gave me chances to get under him, and I took advantage of it. And we just took it from there, but once I got around those guys, Todd was just too far.
Just shame the rear end blew out on us. I think I could have got Jason with a couple more laps left, but I'll take a 3rd. This has been our best run all year up here, so I'm happy with that.
I don't know. We had a good truck in the beginning of the night, the first half of the race, and even in the beginning of the second half. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if the tires were just gone or we got too much stagger in the back. It was just too loose in the middle of the corner. I couldn't do anything.
Price, Lasky, Kostelnik, and Reno were followed by Todd Corson in the top 5 finishers of the 2003 Tommy Gale Memorial 64. The win helps Todd Price to stay on top of the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Truck Division points. Jason Lasky, Marion Reno Jr., Josh Kokenauer, and Adam Kostelnik make up the rest of the top 5 in points. Coming up tonight at Jennerstown Speedway, it's the Wheeler Brothers 100, a 100-lap race featuring the Rolling Rock Late models. Plus, 4 more divisions will be racing, including the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks, Jennerstown Speedway Modifieds, Street Stocks, and Chargers. Adult admission for all this racing is just $15, and kids 12 and under get in for free. I'm Steve Richard. Thanks for watching this week's C2C. We'll see you next week on Chase to the Checkered. We hope to see you tonight at Jennerstown Speedway.